I have one question. Marty sir, so I was fixing some things in the collaboratory, and since now the GPT researcher is disabled in dev, so how can I test if it's coming in collab or not when I'm
Uh,
developing?
so you can test using your previous experiments, or there is a
Hmm.
flag that there is a flag in the backend that do research. You can make it to true and it will research. So currently
Okay,
in dev it false.
good. Okay.
Thank you, Madi. Next up is Mehul.
Yes, I am grateful for cup noodles. Random, but I had cup noodles like 15 minutes ago, and it satiate me.
Wait,
I've
grateful
been
for
working
what? Say
on
that again.
cup noodles.
Okay.
Yeah. I've been working on the persona creation, and I successfully integrated like LinkedIn and built personas of it. I think the limitation is I need like a Sales Navigator account because Sales Navigator gives you a little more access on the prospects, like recent activity if they're recently promoted or they recently posted. Can't get that with like a normal LinkedIn account. You need Sales
Right.
Navigator for that. So I'll need you, Avi, to get me a subscription.
Yes, sir.
Um, Outside of that, I am trying to also set up the backend using Docker, so I can test some things with like the salary workflows. Because I'm able to run the backend, but I'm not able to run it um, with the whole worker environment because that's how it's running right now on live. For me to be able to test and debug from there, I need to get that working.
Which
So the reason I need to get that working is because I'm trying to fix an issue with the experiment queue, and basically I need to build an API for that just to make things like stable. Um, so correct fix would be on the back end and not the front end for that. So I'm just trying to work through the issue there.
Nice. One thing I'd like to do, Mehul, if you want, maybe let's go through the architecture because I feel like we have like queues of queues of queues because we have like a queue in the front end, we have the salary queue, like arguably if we have Kubernetes, there's like a Kubernetes queue, there's like a there's like a an R shiny proxy queue. That's probably not what you're dealing with, but we have like a bunch of different queues, and I'm wondering if maybe we have like too many. And it sounds like now you're just like building a queue from scratch. So I don't know anything about it, but I want to make sure that you're aware of the architecture.
I'm trying to run the application as it is running on live. I understand it
Yeah.
better. I'm not trying to build anything at the moment. I'm just trying to run it as it is.
Yeah. Beautiful. Madi, you have a question or comment?
Yeah, actually, there's documentation which is a graph of our architecture. In the backend, you can use that. So know where we use Q and where we don't.
Thank you, Mahul. That bug has been plaguing us for a long time. Although before we had the queue on the UI, it was even worse. So we're almost there.
Just just an update. So we don't have a queue in the UI. That's just a representation,
Okay.
which says, yeah, it's coming from the backend, but
Thank you,
Yeah, we
Mehul.
have a bad representation of a queue on the front end. It doesn't work like a queue. It's called a queue, but it's supposed to simulate a queue, an imaginary
uh,
queue.
it's pointing to the backend queue, which is our actual queue, the Celery queue that we have.
Thank you. So next is Nick.
Yeah, good morning all. So, I mean, we set up a few introductory meetings with prospects, and I'm continuing to push hard on that, set up additional meetings. Um, I I um I actually expected to have had more responses by now, and I think we need to fine tune the messaging. Um, because there are a lot of people who work in market research that work on things like satisfaction and brand awareness and advertising effectiveness. And those are not the things that um, are best suited for conjoint analysis or for discrete choice modeling. What discrete choice works well for is for kind of evaluating various product attributes. So and things like price and different product features. So I am just fine tuning the messaging a little bit to find just to ideally optimize it. Um, so that's kind of what I'm focused on, and then follow up with a bunch of people that we've already reached out to. So that's the focus. And we do have a couple of we do have the 3 demos scheduled for this week, which is really exciting.
Anything you're grateful for, Nick?
Pablo's done everything in his power to make sure I'm empowered to do my job. So I'm grateful for Pablo.
Great. So next is Pablo.
Hi guys, good morning. Happy Monday. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I spent some time with my brother this weekend, and so I'm grateful for having a brother, and it felt like, many years ago, just hanging out. Much needed for him, much needed for me. So family.
Is he in Chicago?
He is in Chicago. He's actually the reason why I'm in Chicago. Before that, I was in San Francisco for 6 years, and wanted to get closer to family. I'm kind of like in that stage in life where I want to, family means more. Right? It should be the highest priority. So that was quite nice. It was nice to see progress being made on the fundraising front. We actually received very, very, very good feedback from a friend of mine who is a founding principal at Angeles Ventures. I was actually surprised with the feedback and the interest. So that kind of galvanizes me as we move forward. And that is feedback from a real firm that really deploys, that is active. So, we're working to build out that war chest. That's really positive. Outside of that, meetings, connecting demos this week, supporting Florian, supporting Chin, supporting the marketing team to generate traffic, right? Our goal is not just to post. That shit's easy, right? Our goal is to generate traffic, create engagement, build community, more importantly, schedule demos. So that is our North Star. And then also supporting Tushar, who is doing a lot of work behind the scenes to get the new version of our website, focus on messaging. And so I've been putting quite a few hours this weekend on how best to do just that. So we have the right strategy. We just got to focus on the outcomes that we want to focus on. If you look at all the players that we're competing against right now, they are absolutely inferior to what we do. But what they do really well is the user experience. And so we did the hard work, right? We did the hardest part, smartest engine, smartest people in the room. Now we just got to focus on the translation of language and insights. So yeah, what was it? The 5-yard line for those people that follow football. Probably not the crowd for that reference, but that's it, guys. Be pumped. This is it. This is our time. Go ahead, Sarah.
Thanks, Pablo. I'm grateful for the sunshine. You can see it popping out. It was really gray today, so I thought it was going to be a full gray day, so this is really exciting. So I'm working on grants this week as well. We have done outreach to 4, meaning like we can't apply because there's no link. I don't know if it's like a gatekeeping link to apply. So that's 4. 5, I have 5 additional emails drafted from today. 1 is entirely complete. 1 needs a custom video that I'm gonna film very soon. 2 more grants I finished today. I just want to get look at it later today with like fresh eyes. And then there's another grant that I need someone like age 18 to 24 to kind of volunteer to help me. So if anyone on the team is passionate about the climate and wants to be the face of the grant, I was talking to Tushar, seeing, you know, but yeah, that's the status of the grants. Who is 18 to 24 besides Tushar? Can you comment in the chat so I can come after you? No, okay. Could you be like mildly passionate about the climate? I feel like if you work here, you're like, we can, make it work. Okay. Okay. Thanks, guys. Subode.
Okay, thank you. Sorry. Yes, Subode. What I'm grateful for this week, I'm grateful that I had a haircut. That's what I'm grateful for. And in terms of work, yeah, I mean, the last week was pretty much fixing bugs. We couldn't do much in terms of new. Besides just some, prompting for the latent variable stuff. It's not perfect what we have at the moment, but it's pretty good. It's a good prompt. It generates quite meaningful statements and everything. And Chin has, like he said, he has already implemented 1 endpoint. He needs to do 2. And then basically I'll change the backend accordingly to accommodate the same. And then, I'll basically then hand it over to Yaqub to do some more testing. And there are a few ideas we have still to increase the variation in the responses, not by going through the route of latent variable, but the way we are picking up the responses. I'm gonna try to do that probably tomorrow and then see if that gives us more variation, or basically through the means of latent class. Because if that works out, then if we add the latent variable, that will get us pretty close to what the actual humans do, because then we'll be capturing literally everything possible one can imagine in the behavioral realm. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope now we have a stable platform. Every time we think we have, then there is a new bug. But we hope it works out this time, at least for 2-3 weeks, so that we have time to work on some new stuff in the background. Uh, I have also, on Mehul's front, I've updated the backend to handle the new persona. I'll probably make one few last changes tomorrow, Mehul, and then we can merge your create persona branch. So at least in the backend, I have made the changes where even if you pass 5 persona, whatever the sample size calculation needs to happen, it will happen. It will do the survey, and then I'll basically need to bother Tatwik to accommodate the same in the market simulator. Beyond the other analytics changes I've asked her to do, so I think I'll pass on to Tatwik then.
Subodh, I had a dream about you this weekend.
Which is
Which is, it was like political science. It was like a political science thing about like using the patient as their own control. And I I think it stems from like these conversations that I've been having with the YouGov team. Like, apparently, like, political polling is really, really noisy, like super noisy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the tricks that this lady told me they implemented was, specifically for synthetics, is they said, not just who are you voting for, right, and why, right, but they asked, who did you vote for in the last election? And so in the panel, they create like effectively this like temporal dimension in the panel where they say, oh, last election you voted for, you know, a Democrat with, you know, with strong preference, and now who are you voting for? And adding the previous you know, the previous vote results created this now N of one, like, additional causality dimension. And so I had a dream about you talking about patients and their own control.
And that improves the match with the humans observed result.
They didn't say that. They said that the signal was stronger.
Yeah, I mean, based on all the papers we have seen, right? Like, I think the point is clear. If possible, you can literally have somebody speak about themselves for 2 hours, record the whole transcript. That will give you the best possible answers when run through LLMs. So I guess we are just trying to get close to that through our latent variable approach, which is, I guess, is a feasible approach. Can't interview everyone every time.
So you like that 2-hour interview method?
I mean, so that basically giving the whole history, constraint, attitude, behavior, right? I mean, that's all you get by talking for 2 hours. And once you have all that information, LLMs can go and pick the relevant piece of information given the context and give some relatable answers. Because in a way, this was also a good exercise that we know now that simply feeding a demographic description is not going to fly. They are not that intuitive in a sense that they figure out on their own what it means to connect these demographics with what type of attitude. So those needs to be fed externally, explicitly.
Which is what you've been saying forever.
Yes, but now we'll give a try and let's see what happens. But my guess is with those, we'll get close to what all these papers are observing. So based on what other people are saying, we should be getting closer to like human-based responses then.
Yeah. What do you think of the idea of in the latent variables asking about previous, like the asking about the choice you've made in the dependent variable at a previous time?
But then that we have to feed it on our own. So that basically is creating the true panel data. At the moment, even though a single individual, right, does like 5, 6, or 7 tasks, it is effectively a cross-sectional because you don't know what you did previously.
Right.
So then we have to build that, saying, okay, task one, okay, then it's a clean slate you start. Then task two is like, okay, last time these were the configuration, so you chose this. And now this is the configuration in the current time, so now make a choice.
Mm.
But then the outcome of that will be as we keep going up or into the task, the token's gonna go high and high.
That's okay.
So we'll have to then figure out how to again provide the same information but in a more concise form. We can't just keep adding the whole questions every time. It might just skip everything.
Maybe we can. Don't worry about the tokens. I think the
Yeah,
cost of
so
the token. Oh, go ahead.
first we do with latent variables. I mean, even before that, this is our current setting is okay. I think I'm eating up time, but give me 2 more minutes. Uh, when we ask for response in discrete choice, we are setting temperature to 0 and asking the response. And what is essentially happening, effectively happening, is that we are getting an answer which is clustered around the mean. So it doesn't really matter how much differentiating trait combinations we provided, we are going to get an average result.
Mm.
So the way around is two ways around it. One, we increase the temperature, so around 0.7, 0.8. So we are not too stochastic, but not too deterministic either, and ask the most preferred option. Or the second approach, which is more appealing to me, is the following. We set the temperature to 0.7, zero point 0.8, but instead of asking the most preferred, we ask for the probabilities of each option. And once we have the probabilities, then we generate a random number and pick an option to convert continuous into discrete. And that will replicate way better in terms of how humans behave.
And then when we have the distribution, we can turn one task into 10.
Yep. So that way we do bring bit of heterogeneity, but it's a controlled heterogeneity which we can test rather than leaving everything up to the LLMs. Also, that's the thing. So I have plans to implement that and then see how things go. So probably in a couple of days we'll know even without changing anything in the way we represent persona. If we made these changes into how we collect response, what happens? Let's see.
And what did we decide
Yep.
we're using as our measure of goodness? Since we're not
So
using
in this case,
Scrivener.
just a moment, Pablo. So in this case, the whole goal is to get close to seeing subgroup variation. So if this changes in the way we collect response gives us subgroup variation, then that is it. Like we don't even need to go towards human baseline. Just on a normal experiment, we can see whether or not we are going in right direction.
But like if you take that to its logical extreme, then like testing one trait at a time will get you there.
No, it will not. If we keep the temperature fixed to 0, because then it doesn't really matter much. So that's another thing those paper report. So if they ask a question, you'll see that everyone who has tried with 0, they seems to have this problem of clustering around the mean, and 0.7, zero point 0.8 is the uh, like a sweet spot where everyone is able to see variations.
Interesting. Which is, by the way, the default for the models.
No, we have set it to 0.
No, I know, but if we
Okay.
don't set it to 0 out of the box, they come with 0.7, 0.8.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Nice work. Nice work.
Hey Pablo, I think you had a question.
Yeah. Thanks, Abode. One, nice haircut. Two, this seems like a really interesting, resonating path that I know Avi has talked about several times before. Policy, right? How can government use this? In fact, I think it's one of the North Stars of why Avi came up with the idea, which is to have an impact in society. Going back to my point earlier, I love to challenge the group and the friends of our groups and ask, what are the outputs that they're looking for? Not, yeah, because that seems to be, again, the recurring issue. You know, we build out this incredibly powerful platform. No one disputes how powerful it is, but then we make it very difficult for a user to then, you know, get it from there and run with it. And I feel like I'd love to focus on the output that's relevant for said user or space. Or as Matt Waller would say, start with the end in mind. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess people can go and see, I mean, talk to their non-technical people. But the one thing that we talked, I think Pablo last week or last week, don't remember, but that was basically converting the feature label importance graph into a lift graph. So if we add that, then it's pretty straightforward for anybody to really know what is the impact, right? Like this is how your share will go up. This is how much is change in the revenue. They
Right.
don't need to bother looking at any other number.
Yeah.
So I think
That's
Tatavik is already working on that. So that should improve quite a bit.
definitely. And to give credit to the team, I love and I appreciate, right, the humility and the willingness to understand and learn and iterate around that. It's a superpower that, you know, tends to not get as much credit. And I think it's incredibly powerful. So thank you for hearing us out. We have people like Michelle who are not just champions, but are also sharing because they love the work that you guys have done. The end in mind. Like what resonates for marketing, what outputs are relevant for them so that they can take action, etc. So you guys are doing great work.
Yeah. Maybe we can meet afterwards, Chin and Subodh. Okay. Next up is Tatavik.
Hi everyone, happy Monday. So currently I'm working on the following. I promised Chin I will get him the market simulator results in the API. So I'm trying to pre-calculate them in the Robum code so we can save that somewhere and we can access that. Other than that, probably the best thing I've done in the past 2 days is the following. When we downloaded the dashboard as a PDF, I have seen comments that the file is too big. Also, Pablo wasn't able to get the download because of the file size. So I just changed like some JavaScript stuff there, so everything should be downloadable now. Yeah, that's what my focus is for today.
Nice. Wait, so we'll be able to download the whole report in one PDF?
No.
Oh.
It's still per page, but like some people weren't even able to get that page because the file size was too big.
Yeah, I noticed that too. 100 megabytes for just one page.
Mhm.
If we could find a way to either, you know, maybe refactor the report or do something so that one PDF we can get the whole thing in a shot, that's been a pretty strong demand, especially if we want to have like downstream you know, marketing use cases, or the ability to chat with our agents, or the ability to upload the results of a report in order to propose a next best experiment. I know PDF is probably not like the cleanest interface, but it's something that we have like 3 or 4 POCs downstream that are waiting for input. But
Yeah,
maybe,
sorry, go ahead, Avi. Go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe there's a better way to build like a non PDF interface where we can output the analytics in a single artifact that can be used by downstream folks.
Yes. That so two things. One, on that vein, Avi, the way I view collaboratory is just that.
Right.
The ability to ingest the full report with all the assets.
Right.
I think we're like 80% there. And actually 80 plus an additional 50, because you add qualitative research, right? The GPT research to that. And that's not really in the visualizations of our market simulator. So that's like super powerful. And then they can modify and print or download as a PDF as they wish from there. But that was actually pretty cool to see. The second thing is, Tadevik, just to put it in your radar, like our friend Lucy did a lot of the testing as well for the PDF exports per page. And there was a sharp difference between the Safari experience and the Chrome experience. We don't have to necessarily do Safari. It is obviously a less common browser versus, you know, Chrome. But if that is the case, maybe we should have some sort of user experience where we strongly advise or hint people to go to Chrome if that is our preferred browser. What we shouldn't do is just leave it to chance and then experience a lot of the PDF issues that the Safari browser experienced. So just a suggestion. I'll defer to you to have a plan of attack, but an easy way to optimize for it. Because the downloads would work, but there was no content on the PDFs. There was nothing. So I don't know. Just putting it in your radar.
Okay, I'll take a look at that.
Thank you, Tatavi. Next is Ambush.
Hey guys, good morning. Happy Monday. Yeah, so coming to my task, well, last week on Friday, me, Hadi, and Subodh were discussing ways that we could deploy this. And well, Subodh also suggested that this should be on our Shiny. So I was looking into packages, like we have a Shiny package that supports chatbot development. At the same time, Hadi was also suggesting a way to do this where we could have this on the front end, and this would trigger my chatbot application that would send the run ID, and then we could have it show up on our Shiny. So yeah, I guess today we're just going to sit together and work on this and test it and see how it looks like. So yeah, I guess this week for me is going to be focused more on deployment. But yeah, I guess that's all for me.
Thank you, Ambush. Next
Wait,
is
Ambuj, where are you going to deploy this thing, and who's going to help you?
Yeah, so we're looking at two approaches right now. One is directly on the R Shiny, and one is what Hadi was suggesting, where we
Directly
trigger this from
on
the front end.
our Shiny, you said?
Yeah, so one is on the R Shiny, one will be from the front end. So we're just looking at the best way to do this right now. So me and Hadi today we are going to test out the approach and see how it will look like if we trigger this from the front end. So yeah, I guess yeah, that's it.
Okay, I would I mean, sit with Madi. I would probably say avoid putting this into our Shiny. that doesn't feel like it's the right place for it, but
Okay, sure, yeah.
But
I guess today we are, yeah.
technically it needs to be on our Shiny market simulator, right? That's where you see a graph, and if you're not clear, you talk to the bot.
yes, and that's true. But I'm just a little bit worried that, like, from a DevOps perspective, and from having to go through the R, to get to R Shiny, we go through an iframe, and then we go through the Shiny proxy. Madi, correct me if I'm wrong, and that feels like a lot, especially if we have this new third stack that Ambuj put together. I think if we want to eventually end up in this collaborative, stable experience, we want to guide people away from R Shiny and towards whatever, maybe towards the collaboratory, towards the actual the app. But I don't know. We should find a way to make that decision. But I don't know.
I guess we need to test it out and see. Yeah. But let's also make it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ambush. Next is Hadi.
Hello everyone. Happy Monday. I have today maybe 1 hour to work on the human baseline chart. Then if Ambush need help, well, the solution I suggested was from user experience, the chat applications will be in the R Shiny, but it will appear in R Shiny, but the code will be in the front end. So if that's we want, then I will be helping Ambush for implementing that. Yeah, so we'll be working on this.
Thank you, Hadi. Next up is Linnea.
Monday. Hope you hear me okay. Coming to you from the train today, so hopefully the Wi-Fi holds. Yeah. I've been kind of fixing some Giga bugs that popped up, and otherwise we'll continue to work on the mosaic plots, and maybe get my hands into the PDF stuff you were talking about as well at the end of the week.
Well, it sounds like well, I thought that the main consumer of the PDF programmatically was going to be this new chat agent and the next best action recommendation tool. But Ambuj, if you were able to get that data without the PDF, maybe I was using old information.
Yeah, Avi, could you repeat that? You were talking about uploading the PDF?
Sorry, I was under the impression that we needed the entire PDF for two use cases. One, the next best experiment recommendation tool that Atish put together, and then two, the chat agent to interpret the results alongside the market simulator Ambuj that you put together. But if you're both able to get all of the market simulator data without the PDF, then I maybe was using old information and then ignore what I was saying.
Yeah, I mean, the PDF is not compulsory. The PDF was an option in case
Got it.
users also want to look at the causal report or something. But yeah, I mean, PDF in itself is not a necessity.
Got it. Okay. So Never mind.
The same thing for Atish stuff. He doesn't need PDF. He just takes the JSON and picks the part of like feature label importance and feature importance, and based on that he generates the question.
But I was under the impression that the most important part of the market simulator, which was actually doing the market simulation and recommending the next best action, is both. It is not in the JSON and therefore not in the next best action or in the chat agent.
So at the moment, the next best action will be based on the current experiment result and not by what you change and play in the market simulator second time. So whatever experiment you ran with whatever attributes, you get the feature label importance and everything. And based on that, it will tell you at the moment. It doesn't even take into consideration the traits at the moment. So once we are able to get subgroup, then we can feed that as well to give the best next question.
Got it. And then once we're able to execute the market simulator asynchronously on the back end, you can include that as well?
Yeah, then it can be passed.
I see. Okay, all right. I see. Tatevika, did you understand that?
Parts of it, to be honest.
Yeah, so it would be a benefit to be able to run the market simulator with the default at competitor attribute levels asynchronously when we do the regular calculations, when we do the AMC calculations.
By saying market simulator, like you need just the market share and the insights.
Yeah, the next best action. You know how there's that button on the market simulator that like you always have to load it and then and then click it to get it to go.
Okay. Will I be sent those traits, the competitor traits?
Can you use? Can you use the defaults that you use in the UI now?
The real life product.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can save suggestions and market share based on this general real life product. But yeah, that will be it. Like without changing any traits, without them making their custom products, just that those two date frames, I can get it.
Okay, perfect. That's great. All right, then we wouldn't need the PDF. As long as that calculation makes it into the analytics file for the downstream consumption. Madi, am I saying this right? I hope I'm saying this right. Yeah, okay, very good.
I don't know if
Madi approved. Yeah.
I hear the last part, but I wasn't following, so I'm not sure.
It's fine,
Yeah,
Madi. We'll
you-
talk later.
Yeah, you can talk together later. So, have a nice flight, Linnea. And I think last one is Tushar.
Happy Monday, everyone. So, yeah, I was working on the collab fixes that were mentioned in the hunting channel. So, I was going through that all. Also, adding functionality to not show that artifacts data raw data, put it in the table, and also get the images of the graphs and graphs that we get directly into Collab when we create it. And sat with Mehul yesterday to figure out the queue issue. over the weekend was trying to replicate it. Also working mainly on the website based on the sitemap and the brainstorming which Pablo, me, and Mia Lucy had done. Yeah, so that is pretty much it currently.
Thank you, Tushar. I think that's everyone. I don't think I'm missing anyone.
Um, just a question for clarification. So I know last week we had talked about releasing on Monday, again, another patch. I know, Madi, you provided some color. I just want to make sure, did we release or do a patch or anything today, Monday, or not, or?
Yes, so we thought we fixed the causal marketing tab issue, and we released to production today.
Oh, okay, awesome. Awesome, okay, perfect, thank you. Yeah. I appreciate that, Madi, thank you. You, Tatsuvi, everyone.
Mia is here as well. I don't know if she hadn't joined before. I don't know if you want to give us an update, Mia.
Yeah, I can do a quick one. On Friday, I worked with like Pablo, Lucy, and like Chin with like marketing automation stuff, and then was just putting like post and plannable like videos that Avi had requested. I just have to finish writing in it, but that's about it for my update. Now, like the next steps are just like executing on the marketing automation, like emails, and just continue with like social media posting.
Yeah, I'd really like us all as a team to focus on getting the message out there. Right, like what we have by itself, even with all these little tweaks we're talking about, is much more powerful than what exists in the market. But our marketing, our kind of outreach is a little bit, underpowered. I think if we promoted our human baseline replications, that would separate us. Nobody is promoting how similar or different they are to humans. So Hadi, if you could rank the human baselines by similar to different, so that we can really kind of like start promoting those. Chin and Florian, if we could start sending our experiments out to people with the next best action. Once Tatevik gets that into the analytics file, so that we could land in people's inboxes. Mia, if we could chop up our ads or our videos and really start promoting them and start paying for ads for the ones that are doing well. It would really be great to really invite the world into our little application. Because when people see it, they really like it. We just need more people to see it.
So I agree that human baseline is a powerful story, but at this point, we say it, and we have no effective way to show it.
Well, have you looked at the showcase?
On our website right now?
Yeah.
I mean, we're asking people to click many times, and I think we can summarize the findings in a single chart. And I'm happy to work with whomever to kind of share some ideas, but yes, I have looked at it, and I don't think it does an effective job of telling the story. I think what's in our paper is helpful, but it's also a year old. And
it is a year old. That's true.
That's
true.
And we have no idea what kind of studies we're talking about. I think showing the same study and how we got closer to it over time would be helpful, and I think showing how we've made progress with getting more accurate data over time by category of study would be helpful. We just don't have a thing that gets the message across in seconds about human baseline.
So you're talking about maybe a leaderboard? Would that do it? Like how Scale.ai has?
I think 2 sets of charts, one that shows how our results have been getting more accurate over time, either overall or by category, and another chart that, or another kind of maybe case study that shows how our results are getting for individual studies, right? So a study that was run in, I don't know, 2018, right? We ran our first comparison 18 months ago and we were X far off, or off by X amount. And then we ran it again at the beginning of 2025 and now we're a lot closer. Like,
So let me, if I understand, replicating the replicating study to show, like, on a control, the progress made.
yeah, I mean, we claim that it gets better over time, right? So can we show how it gets better over time? And I think there are, yes, and one of the ways is you show how we're getting better over time on individual studies. And then another one is how, as we run more and more studies, the system gets smarter. And I'm not going to get into why right now. So yes.
Yeah, definitely. So, so right now we have the idea of promoting our, how human our studies are. We have 2 ways of doing that. We have the showcase, which is here, and then we have the leaderboard, which is pretty close to getting done. So when Hadi ranks the showcase by human baseline agreement, that will be the moment in time. When we have the leaderboard, which I'm still unclear who's working on that leaderboard, but it seems like it's quite important. By domain, we will then have the snapshot over time. And then what you're saying, Nick, is add a temporal dimension to that, right? Which can be version 2, where we show how those numbers have improved over time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. But let's do the simple thing first and get the snapshots out, and then we can add the time dimension, and then we'll promote the time dimension.
Very good. Very good.
I think that's everyone. Yeah.
Can we, Tushar, can you schedule a meeting with me? Maybe like a 2-3 hour session, and let's build the leaderboard together. We can build a static version of it. We can do some vibe coding.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Should I add like Chen and Florian as well?
Yeah, I mean whoever, make it open. We can have the whole crew.
Okay.
Do you have any demos? It's probably unfair to ask this. Could we do a demo of the next best action feature that Atish put together? or did he was he able to, or should we wait until he gets back?
But that has not yet been merged.
Okay.
It's in the PR.
Okay, sweet.
Up, Florian, is Florian here? Florian, how many human baseline have we run?
How many? You mean across different LLMs, or how many from each chunk, like
How
each
many
paper?
from each? Yeah, like unique, unique ones.
I think it's about 52.
Okay.
Around, I don't know the exact value right now, but it's about 52, 56.
Okay. And we had like 80 or 85 which could be run, right, in total?
Yeah, but some of them failed
Okay.
due to errors, or it just failed to save the results.
Okay.
One question: is there an automation that runs all of these?
Is there another?
If there's an automation
There is
you.
an
Okay.
endpoint which automate and run this. But now if we have to rerun some human baseline, you'll have to make some changes, because to make sure we don't run out of, like we don't get rate limit error, we are mixing and matching LLMs now. So if we have to do a pure human baseline, we'll have to do that part. So for now, I would say, yeah, we build with 52 we have. I'm not sure how many we'll get per field based on scenes cluster. Let's see. So Florian, you have that Excel with all the study name and then numbers. Maybe you can share that, and I can combine that with Chin cluster to see how many we have per cluster.
Yeah, of course. I pasted it in the chat, and it's 56 ones that we've replicated.
Okay. So I'll create the table, and then, yeah, I think we just need Tushar to display that table somewhere on the website then. So Tushar, I'll do the following. For now, I'll just give you a dummy data so that you can have the graphs ready. And then within an hour or so, I'll give you the actual numbers, so you can just replace them. Does that help?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Nice work, guys. I think we're ready to promote. How do we feel?
I think if it stands like the product, then we should be fine. I mean, it gives reasonable result at the moment.
It gives really good results, but I can't express enough. This is like just between us chickens. How I think low quality most market research is. Like most market research is moment in time descriptive, where they'll have like 80 questions and 50 respondents. I mean, it's total noise. And like when we look at the research world, it's even worse. Like only 30% of psychology papers replicate, 40% of sociology papers. I mean, it's the most unstable set of science I've ever seen.
think there is one last bug. Otherwise, it should be fine. I think Nick posted he got the email experiments done, but the timer still goes on.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Nick has been doing a really good job finding bugs. It's very good. It's like a one-man QA team. I like it. All right, guys, let's go promote this thing.
Right. Yeah. So Tushar, I'll send you one dummy and then something in an hour or so. Then yeah, you can put that on the website, I guess.
Okay, sir.
Thanks. And Subodh, if you have any time today to meet me and Shin, you can just tell me. If not, we can meet tomorrow.
Okay, we'll catch up. We'll catch up in a while.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Thank you.
Beautiful. Happy Monday, everybody. Work in pairs.
Bye.
Work in teams.
Bye.
See you guys soon.